Senators find a way to win 4-0 in Montreal this afternoon, in this afternoon, evening slash type of game. And even more shockingly, they find a way to get a shutout for the first time in just over 2 years. And the reason why that's so shocking that the Sens got a shutout is because it almost never happens, or at least it hasn't for the last 2 years. They were the only team in the league to not have a shutout last season, and they were one of a few teams left to not record one yet this year. That has now changed. The Sens have a shutout in the books, and Matt Murray is the goaltender of record in this one. Spoiler alert on the lineup notes, by the way. And the Sens' last shutout came March 26, 2019 against Buffalo in Ottawa. Craig Anderson was the goalie in that game. I think he had like a 40-save shutout or something like that in that one. But Matt Murray was nowhere near as busy as Craig Anderson was in his shutout that game 2 years ago. But let's talk about some lineup changes. So obviously, okay, Murray's in net. And Shane Pinto makes his NHL debut. Zaitsev's back from injury. Bernard Docker comes out. Michael Amadio comes out of the lineup because Shane Pinto's coming in. And he played pretty good in this one as well. Shane Pinto did. Okay, so early on in that first period, Drake Batherson's cutting down the wing. He snaps a shot off. Edmondson gets his stick in the lane. It hits him up in the face. He's a little rattled by it. Batherson gets the puck back. Makes a great centering feed out front to Zub, who wrists one home past Carey Price. Artem Zub's third goal of the season, and out of his 3 goals, 2 of them have come against the Habs in Montreal, both on Carey Price as well. That one, obviously, Batherson gets an assist, and Stützle picks up an assist on that one too. And I would like to say more happened in that first period, but really that wasn't the case. The shots only ended up being 5-3 for Ottawa. That was, I think, the most low-event period I've seen in any game, let alone a Sens game this year. Usually the Sens are known for their high-event games, going back and forth, giving up chances, getting chances. But this was one of their best defensive performances, and they really deserved the shutout in this one. The Habs are coming on a little bit in that second period. They had a few power plays. The Ottawa penalty kill, who I've been hard on this year, and rightfully so, was very good in this one. Matt Murray had to come up and make some big saves and one of the penalty kills early in the second, but the Sens did a pretty good job of killing off all the penalties, and the Habs were 0 for 4 in this one. And then that would set the stage for Drake Batherson to come in, get his second point of the game, assisted by Tkachuk and Norris. And that one came at 13-12 into the second period. And I just want to say, what a goal by Drake Batherson, because like Mike Johnson, the color commentator on TSN, was saying, he sells to Price that he's going to shoot high on him. He's looking high. He never looks 5-hole. And then he risks it 5-hole. And I think that just really goes to show some of the elite talent that Drake Batherson has. And for me, this guy is just scraping the surface. I don't even think he's, or if anything, at the very most, he's maybe half of what I think he can truly be. And that's saying a lot, because Batherson's already a pretty good player, and I think he's going to be an even better one in the future. So the Sens are going to the third period up 2-0, and I'm thinking to myself, well, it'd be nice for them to get a shutout, but there's still lots of time left, and if Montreal comes back and wins this game, it's not the worst thing in the world. The Sens, they need to obviously kind of feel like they need to tank maybe, and Buffalo, they're only 3 points back of them, yada yada yada. But once we got to 10 minutes left in the third, I was like, no, Sens, win this all the way. Get the shutout for Matt Murray. Do something you haven't done in over 2 years. That would be really impressive if you guys could do that. And the Sens would cushion their lead as Josh Anderson would take an absolute stupid boneheaded penalty. He cross-checks Artem Zub from behind out of frustration. And I think Anderson's forgetting that this isn't the Sens power play of, 1, 2, 3 years ago, where it just wasn't very good and they didn't have a lot of talent on their team. And while the Sens power play is not that great this year, it's been near the bottom of the league and it's been a mixed bag at best at times this year. Well, they have enough skill now that they can hurt you more than they did the last few years. And Drake Batherson proves that as he gets his second of the game, assisted by Brady Tkachuk, who picks up his second assist, and Josh Norris. Tkachuk, even though those were good passes by him, man, those were some pretty easy assists for Tkachuk, as Batherson just, he's giving Tkachuk easy points here by scoring a bunch of goals. And Batherson's a guy who has a really underrated release on his shot. I think that one might have tipped off a Montreal player's stick, but nonetheless, I thought it was a good shot by Batherson. It's 3-0 Ottawa at this point. Habs had pulled the goalie shortly after. Shane Pinto wins a draw, gets it back to Zaitsev. Zaitsev hits the empty net, puts it away, his second of the season. His second goal into an empty net, and all three of Zaitsev's goals with Ottawa, the one last season and the two this year, have all been empty nets, by the way. But the Sens will take it, Zaitsev will take it, and Shane Pinto will take that first NHL assist. Congratulations to him. He played about under 10 minutes, I think about 9-10 of ice time. I thought he was very noticeable out there. Obviously, he just had the one assist, but still very noticeable in his limited amount of ice time. He was knocking pucks down. He played on the penalty kill even, so DJ Smith putting him out there in those situations. You have to have these kids play, especially in a lost season. See what you have in your organization. And it looks like the Sens might have a good one coming here in Shane Pinto. And at this point, all I could think of is please don't blow the shutout. I'll be so upset at you guys if you do it. I know they came close to shutting out Calgary a few weeks ago. And then Johnny Gaudreau scored that goal late to tie it up on Philip Gustafson with I think about 5.5 to go or something. And Gord Miller, I don't think he mentioned shutout in this one, or not like in direct contact to the Sens goalie Matt Murray having the shutout going for him. But Josh Brown takes a penalty with just over a minute left on Arturi Lehkonen, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, they're going to blow the shutout here. And, that penalty kill was so stressful for me. I was thinking, please, guys, just hang on here, get the shutout. And they hang on, they win 4-0, and even though the win wasn't in doubt at that point, the shutout was, and the Sens, they do it the hard way, but Matt Murray gets the shutout. Sens win 4-0, and boy, it feels good to not talk about an opponent's goal on this channel for once. Final shots were 23-15 for Montreal. Ottawa, only 15 shots. I thought they played better than their 15 shots indicated. They were really good defensively though, limiting Montreal to only 23. The Habs, naturally will probably get more shots just because they were the team that was trailing throughout the whole game, pretty much right off the start of the game. And Ottawa did a good job of defending. That's the best type of defense I've seen them have in a long time. And, especially this year, a team that's worst in the league for goals against. They get a shutout. I just want to point out that a couple years ago when they were last in the league for goals against, they gave up 302 that season. But they did have 4 shutouts for. So there is something that's kind of contradicting to their goals against stat for that season. But guys that played well, Shane Pinto, like I said, played well. Looked good out there. Obviously, Drake Batherson, 3 points in this game, 2 goals, 1 assist. He looked really good, really sharp out there. Josh Norris, too. The whole line looked pretty good. Tkachuk, I thought Norris and Batherson were pretty good, especially Batherson. He really drove that line tonight. He seems like a guy that could potentially drive a line going forward. And, Tkachuk and Norris were kind of, no slight to them, but they were kind of a little more along for the ride maybe in this game, but they still picked up some important points. And good for all those 3 guys. They played a really good game as well. So those are my thoughts on this one. And I know I'm a lot more excited about the shutout than maybe most normal people would be. But it's really nice to see my favorite team get a shutout here finally for once. And, it's been a long time, like I said. But let me know all that and more in the comments down below about the Sens winning and getting a shutout too, and Matt Murray looking pretty sharp. He wasn't overworked in this one, and that's a good thing, and he looked sharp when he had to be. He made a big stop, I want to mention, to preserve the shutout, I think, with like 5 minutes or so left in that third period. So that was really good on Murray for doing that, obviously. But let me know all that and more in the comments down below. Like I said, please like and subscribe and share this video as always. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.